Welcome to the Grain of Salt podcast, Godzilla Singular Point, episode 13, End, or whatever, the season finale.
Yeah.
I'm Hank, and with me is Ben.
Yo, we're finally here.
End of the road.
How are you feeling?
It was okay. That last, post-credit scene was hype as fuck, but...
So, I mean, I'm like, it's so middling. Like, the music was great. The
music, that's the thing. The music is so fucking top tier, but, a lot of what happened, it's, still, teasing me, up until, near the halfway point.
Even then, we didn't get a ton. Not nearly as much as I wanted or hoped.
Yeah. Sure.
I
will say this episode definitely made it clear, they plan to make more of this.
I mean, if it turns out this season was the precursor to more fights and less archetype, right? That'd be dope.
It's a precursor to more of this. To more
see, that's
people standing around talking about it.
That's the thing. We have that post-credit scene and it's super hype, but at the same time, I'm like, if it's just leading to more fucking Jello analogies, it's not that hype. It has potential, certainly, but and I really love so many things about this anime. I love the art style and color palette. The music is so good. The pacing is for what they're dealing with, for how much fucking exposition we got, it was pretty decent. It didn't feel like it dragged horribly, but I really was just hoping for at least 15 minutes of Godzilla shit in this episode. Just him going ham.
Yeah.
And we got the same old. Also, I'm just the writing and stuff and what was being talked about in this episode puts every black metal album I've listened to shame with the amount of nonsensical stuff coming out of people's mouths. They're just talking just for the sake of it. There was that one sequence where it's literally just the answers, we know them. The questions, future, archetype, past, have to know. It was pretty grating. I was not a fan.
Yeah, that's fine. Honestly, the thing that was the most interesting to me in this episode was near the end, they stopped using the Salunga model and they started hand drawing
it. Yeah, which was much better.
So much better. It looked so much
it was
better.
Ridiculous.
I was like, oh, now that you actually need this model to do something, you actually just have to draw it, and holy shit, it looks so much cooler.
Dude,
wow.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was it's such an improvement. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Honestly, the music saves this show. The music is so good.
Dude, yeah, the music and the color palette is so good. The tones that they're using and stuff, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan.
I mean, that whole giant, all the shots of the city, the giant tornado, circular red tornado thing.
Yeah.
That all looks fucking dope.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
MVP, easily Pero 2. Easily. Not even a contest.
He drives the boat?
He fixes the boat and he's a little captain.
Yeah, I don't, but when we were 10 minutes in and Pero 2's out here fixing a boat, I'm like, oh man, we're not gonna get that much Godzilla action.
Yeah. And our final sort of analogy.
The answer is we just have to do the calculation in the past. It's like it just doesn't mean anything anymore.
It literally means
You just-
absolutely nothing.
You're just in this tunnel with your boat.
Ugh.
I liked how dinky Jet Jaguar's like helicopter shit was. That it was like immediately breaking.
Yeah, and like barely lifted off.
Yeah, I thought like when they dropped the truck and the other dude and the old man just fucking plummet.
Yeah,
It's like I honestly think it was kind of weak of the show, and a testament that they want to make more. That those guys were just fine, like they weren't even hurt.
yeah. I mean, I'm pumped and prepped for season 2. Word on the street is there's going to be a hot and hard opening, just like pow, just hitting with Professor Lee coming back. So looking forward to it. The dream lives.
Just gonna keep riding that one.
I'm clinging to it, dude. I gotta be right because in my heart I know I am. I'm wrong about so many things. This isn't one of them.
Okay.
I've gotta be. Look, of all the things, like of all the stupid hills for me to be obtuse on, like this one's okay.
Drawings of Solunga just look so much fucking better. Like
man.
It's so much better. God.
Imagine the entire show if they had just like drawn shit.
I would like this show. It would take this whole show up a tier on my anime tier list, I would say.
So
just that change.
Where does it fall for you as it stands?
I'm still not sure. Let me stare at my tier list.
Dude, can you hit me with a link to your tier list? If it's like readable
I think
thing?
I think the links are all fucked up.
Okay.
Through like site movements at this point.
Is it okay? Well, top half?
No.
No? Okay. No. I mean, that's not surprising. I don't know how expansive or how encompassing your tier list is. How many shows on the list?
How many shows? I'm not sure.
Like it's like dozens, right? It's not.
It's
just
like it's like 10 tiers, with a couple sitting between tiers, and every tier is at least like 5+.
Okay. Okay. So dozens, yeah.
And some of them are bigger than that even.
Sure.
I think, and only a few are smaller. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like expansive.
Yeah. I think, and also like my tier list is not based on just how much I like a thing. It's based on how like objectively well I think it does what it's trying to do or whatever. Like, and like based on the difficulty of what it's trying to, like how ambitious it is or whatever. It's like obviously it's all shows I actually like. I don't put any shows on it that I don't like.
Well, yeah,
I try to keep it like semi. I tier it more objectively than just my taste would be. I think it's like tier 8, maybe, but that might even be too high. Tier 8 is like good but not great.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel about it. Good but not great. Like, yeah. I fucking wish that we could get it. We have like 2 halves, or not 2 halves. We have like, I want to do some rearranging because having the plot and story shit and events that happen in the anime trilogy, but in this style and like with the pacing would be so fucking good. because I love that story more. I think I do really like the
Sure.
shit we got going on, but I mean then that means we get to put this stuff where it belongs, in a slow, boring, drawn out garbage setting. So everybody wins.
Yeah, so like I hear where that puts it in the tier list is like above standard shonen tournament stuff, like Pokemon or Yu Yu Hakusho, but below Naruto.
Below Naruto? Okay, well, I mean, we're coming from two different
And
universes.
or below Digimon Adventure Season 1.
I mean, I would definitely put it below Digimon. That's an easy.
Yeah.
It's an easy choice, but I mean, well, I'm not even like, yeah. We know how I feel about Naruto and One Piece.
Also, that's Naruto barring all filler.
Ugh.
Only non-filler allowed. Because filler would maybe take it off the list entirely.
Wow, that doesn't sound fair at all. Wow, look at this guy. I'm
No,
ignoring.
the filler of Naruto's all fucking garbage, though.
I mean,
like
yeah, so that
literally all
means okay.
terrible.
And how much of it is filler? What percentage?
Well, it doesn't matter because
Does matter.
no, it doesn't.
To me,
Because
it
the
does.
filler is literally the stuff that's not based on the manga. So you only have to. Care about the stuff that's actually adapted
Okay.
from the manga.
I thought it was like
It's like-
filler that came like it's still.
No, the
Canon,
filler is
I guess.
literally the stuff that they made up because they put that show out every week, but they're adapting a comic book that moves at a different pace of storytelling.
Yeah, gotcha.
So-
Okay, no, that's fine. That's we can take
Where
it.
they
off.
had to, because Naruto, they like literally had to tell 80 episodes of filler episodes in a row, because they had to wait before fit in these episodes before there was a time skip and all the characters grew up.
That's terrible.
But plot wise, and they do like filler arcs where it's like, oh, here's this story about this new character who's like the same as Naruto but also new, and all our main characters can't change at all because the plot can't move forward. So all these new characters are here to do stuff, and then we'll never hear about them ever again. They'll disappear after this arc. It's the
Ugh.
worst.
Yeah, no, that sounds fucking miserable.
Naruto filler is the worst thing.
That's
But the core of Naruto is fine.
Yeah.
It actually has an interesting. The reason it gets higher is because it's not standard shonen. It's like Naruto is more like a shoujo protagonist because he's not interested in being the strongest. He's interested in saving his friend, Ben.
I mean, so what I'm hearing is that I made the right choice by watching Demon Slayer, because also not about being the strongest. Though being the strongest is cool. You know what? Fuck that. No, being the strongest is cool. I like it when things are the strongest and then stuff.
I mean, he
hits them.
also is trying to be the strongest. So it's not, but it's not like his only goal is to be the strongest. He's not Goku.
He's got multiple stuff.
I mean, also, like Dragon Ball is tier 5, like original pre-Z Dragon Ball, because that's purity right there.
I've seen
That's
nothing
up with
of
Rose.
Dragon.
That's up with Rose of Versailles as tier 5.
See, that one I've seen
Just classic,
a bit of.
standard.
It's on my list.
That's just classic. Also, I wrote this tier list I came up with this tier list like over a decade ago. So
You gotta
maybe
update
don't
it.
hold me to all the. It's true. But like, what updating am I gonna do without rewatching all of these shows? Really.
Yeah,
Really.
it's a pretty big ask.
Particularly like with these lower tiers, where it's like, yeah, these are the shows that are okay. Whereas like the ones that the whole reason I have the tier list is because like I've got a number 1, baby. That is how this idea came about.
Which is your number one
like-
again? I knew
It
it.
was Revolutionary Girl Utena.
Do I recognize?
Created by a Sailor Moon showrunner. Ikuhara.
Why the fuck haven't we like watched this?
Because it has a student council?
Hmm.
Um,
What, like the
like,
kind that I hate, or just a student council?
yes.
Ugh.
No. Exactly the kind you hate.
Ugh.
It literally does like the reason Kill la Kill does it is because Lieutenant did it, kind of, in that way. Because literally the student council runs the school and has a secret sword fighting club where they battle for who controls the Rose Bride.
That's
And
wild.
they get letters from End of the World.
Yeah, that.
The showrunner created it because he was writing a Sailor Moon movie. I think the second Sailor Moon movie, and he wanted it to be about Sailor Neptune and Uranus together at the end of the world, but then they wouldn't let him do it, so then he left. And he made Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant.
It sounds like we could have just watched this instead of Kill la Kill.
I mean, maybe like it's better than Kill la Kill, but it's very different because it doesn't have like the fighting animation budget of a trigger anime.
I'll be real with you. I am less bothered by the student council stuff of Kill la Kill this time around. The fan service and sexual assault stuff is irking me. It's
Sure.
really irking me. Less so the fan service. That's kind of whatever. But like every time that they're like, haha, we're watching her take a bath, I'm like, I don't like it.
I mean, it's not good.
The other, like,
I'm not going to defend it.
Like, and last time it was I mean, I wasn't a fan of that when I'm still not out of the shit that I've seen before. Last time it was like the inverse, like
honestly,
for whatever reason.
the reason I love that show is because of the whole second half.
Yeah.
So
I'm almost there. I'm like right there. It's just interesting that like it kind of flip-flopped for what's bothering me. So like maybe we're at the point, a little student council is okay.
I mean, I will say Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant is not without its problematic shit also.
Sure. Is any anime? Not for me.
Sure. Like, unless by problematic you mean boring. Or like, I don't know.
I mean, like I'm interested. You piqued my curiosity, but there's like assaulty things. I'm gonna have to bow out for now. Can only do one of those at once.
Sure. I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, if we just wanted to do different anime that I actually think are top tier for me, that would be a whole different thing.
Yeah. No,
because they're probably ones I would do that are just shorter.
Gotcha.
Like episode length would be a big like Utena I think is like 30 something episodes. Like it's also a little longer.
On the flip side, would you say that
it's
it is
39 episodes?
Is
where as opposed to like Fooly Cooley is like 6.
see, like 6 episodes is pretty tight.
Yep.
How would you say that Revolutionary Girl, like, I guess kind of in terms of like tone and it looks like style certainly, but is it kind of close to Sailor Moon? Like, does it keep some of that same vibe going a little bit?
Yeah, it's much more adult.
Okay. Well, because I mean, then like Anya is into Sailor Moon, so she might be down. Something to think about for me.
Sure. Again, like, yeah, the main director of the Sailor Moon anime. For he was like made he personally was the episode director on a lot of the best stuff from season 1, and then he took over for seasons 2 and 3 of Sailor
Okay.
Moon.
Nice.
The anime.
I might check it out regardless. At some point, like I'll like I'll
We'd
check
also do
everything
the Sailor
out.
Moon, the Sailor Moon movie, the Sailor Moon R movie, which he directed, which is fucking great.
Nice.
And that's just a movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so Godzilla good, but not great. I mean, yeah. It's like
My other anime in tier 8 are Erased, which is a pretty good mystery show about a character who travels back in time to when he was a little kid and gets stuck in his little kid body back in the past. There's the first season of this show, Hamatora, which is like kind of like anime X-Men, but then the second season it becomes terrible, and they like eye catch every like 5 minutes and like destroys the pacing, and it's unwatchable. So that was kind of a bummer. It was like one of the worst. Like, oh, you've like not only did you like decide like to change the tone to much darker for no reason for season 2, you also like fucked up the entire pacing of your show with like eye catches. Other tier 8 shows I have on there were Mobile Suit Gundam 8th MS Team, Peacemaker Kuragane, Yawara, a fashionable judo girl,
is that
which is by Naoki Urasawa, who did Pluto.
I'm confusing that one with something else.
Yeah, Yawara is about a normal a girl who wants to be a normal high school girl, but she's like the greatest teen judo champion.
I'm not confusing this. I was kind of thinking about this, but it's long,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't watched all of it because it's once you've watched some of it, I know what the quality is going to be. It's just there's more.
Yeah.
And then there's like the show Glass Mask, which is about a girl who wants to be the greatest actress in the world, and the greatest role for her, playing a tree.
Yeah, that tracks. Why wouldn't it be? What the fuck else would it be?
That show is funny because it like destroyed the anime club at college because so many people were like didn't want to watch it. But me and my friend who ran the club were like, no, this show's fine. You guys are dumb.
Amazing.
But I think we went from like Cowboy Bebop to that, so like the attendance dropped way the fuck down.
Yeah.
It's like yeah,
Yeah, that'll do it.
it's also like it was kind of old, so it wasn't the best animated. Also, the opening was incredibly terrible, so my friend like put joke openings from other shows in front of all the episodes on the burnt DVDs we used.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them was a Rickroll because it was the time, as was the style at the time.
I mean, Rickroll, like it's classic, dude. Yeah. People on Reddit occasionally bust them. I've been got a few times. The most recent, like, it was so obvious. It was such an obvious fucking ploy. But someone was like, guys, they put out a 4K remaster of the Rickroll video. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. It was not a 4K remaster. It was just the same shit. And it even took me a minute. I'm like, where's the button? Like, why is it in 4K? And then
I don't know.
I'm like, son of a bitch.
As far as I can tell, the only meme that exists anymore is the Anakin and Padme meme.
Dude, people
it's like
still
literally
going on it.
swallowed all other memes.
I don't get it. I don't fucking get why it like where it I just miss the think X think. I'm still going hard. The think X think.
Nope.
And
You
look
pull up
what
the 4-panel form.
The four
love
panel? Yeah, I
form.
guess.
Yeah, I love the form.
Also a big fan of look what they need to mimic a fraction of our power. It's the potential is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and
There are better anime. There are worse anime.
oh,
For sure.
easily.
This was enjoyable every week.
Yeah.
I feel a hole in which like I need a thing to watch instead. But you know, it didn't. It had its best Godzilla moment wasn't even the finale. Honestly.
Dude,
It
yeah,
was a few
100%.
episodes ago when it literally was just copying Shin
Yeah,
Godzilla.
yeah, just the straight rip. It was very good. Very nice.
Yeah. Well, Shin Godzilla is the best Godzilla thing, so that checks out.
I mean, it wasn't a straight copy.
Well,
He shot ring
okay.
lasers.
Okay. Second best Godzilla thing behind Gojiban.
Second. I mean, I guess it's still kind of Shin Godzilla, that chick kicking the puppet into like off the bridge or whatever.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's but see, that's building on top of Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
That's enhancing. Gojiban takes Shin Godzilla and creates something else. Like it goes up a level.
So, when are we doing the anime trilogy?
I don't know, when I hate myself enough to do it.
Like,
Which is not currently, I would say.
yeah. I don't like at this. On one hand, I feel like I could do them again. On the other hand, I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll ever be ready.
Sure. I feel like a week or two ago, I felt more like it was possible than I do at this moment. At this moment, I'm like, I would rather do fucking anything else.
I totally understand that. That's very. I feel like that's a decent opinion to have about watching those films.
Yeah. So we'll see. Probably at some point I will just watch them and then let you know that I watched them, and then we can plan an episode.
That is totally fine. Because I would just like skim them and yeah.
Yeah, because like you've already been through that. I've tried to warn you. I tried to say don't, but then you did. I'm like, okay, fuck. That means one day I will have to. God damn it.
I didn't know, like, I was told, but I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I watched those trailers.
I
I saw like 5 seconds of that footage and I was like, oh no. Oh no.
See, I didn't know anything going in.
Yeah.
Even, like, aside from, like, the brief talking we did about him, like, I'd not read or seen anything.
That's fair.
Man.
I think the only people who watch those movies are like hardcore Godzilla fans anyway.
Yeah, I'm hardcore. What about it?
I mean, we watched most of the movies. That's pretty hardcore. There are plenty of Godzilla fans, people who like Godzilla who haven't watched most of the movies.
I mean,
In America, at least.
I
mean, they're old movies.
we need to like take in the last couple so that you can stop berating me for not having watched all of the films.
That's true.
You're not a real fan. You haven't even seen all the movies.
I haven't even watched Ebirah the Sea Monster.
My bigger problem is
I
that
mean, Godzilla's Revenge is the big one. That's the bigger one, really.
my bigger problem is that I can't
I just hate that
recall
movie.
the films. Like,
Oh, sure, because they're like a blur because you watch them once.
well, I've watched them once and doing like 4 at a time. Like, this could be from any of the like. I remember Godzilla.
Yeah.
I remember Godzilla tripping on that building vividly. If gun to my head, I could not tell you what film it was from. Even
That's
remotely. I can't even remember if it was like within the first round or the second or the third or fourth. Like,
I think it was second.
it was early, but I don't know how early. Second sounds right. I mean, obviously, like the notable ones, like the first film, of course, and like Biolante and shit. But there's like that stretch of 20 where I'm like, yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah. I wouldn't. When we went through that whole thing, I wouldn't have thought Biolante would really be the one that stood out the most. But, that one was really good.
It's, yeah. I mean, it's like that perfect. Well, and I always get them confused. Final Wars, right? Final Wars is the.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Final Wars.
Like,
Final Wars, I know. I've watched Final Wars many times. Because when I discovered Final Wars existed, I'm like, this is the best fucking thing in the world. It's so fucking. It's like the over-the-top Godzilla movie I always actually wanted. It's not like slow paced the way actual Godzilla movies are.
see, I've done it like 4 times now where for some reason in my brain, I'm like, right, Godzilla, like 2000 is the one I want or whatever. Like the one before Final Wars. And then I start it and I'm like, this isn't as good as I remember. I'm like, where the hell is that dude yelling in the submarine? And then I realize I'm watching the wrong film and I switch. And I've done that like 3 times now.
The one before it is against Mechagodzilla, I think. Was the last one before it? Godzilla 2000 was way earlier.
Godzilla. I get it confused. Yeah, I get it confused with Millennium. I don't know why. Because of the name, I guess.
Weird.
Wait, maybe I got it confused with Millennium once, and then the other time I get it confused with the one before, Tokyo SOS.
Tokyo SOS.
I've like
the first Mechagodzilla one.
I've solidified it in my mind now. Like we're fine.
I think.
But
or is Tokyo? Now I can't even remember. Now I'm blanking. That got me confused. It's against Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS, but now I don't remember which one's first.
I'm looking at it right now in my thing. It is against Mechagodzilla in 2002, SOS in 2003.
Okay.
Yes.
So Tokyo SOS is the second one.
I have my downloads labeled well.
And Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack is the one that the Gamera team made. Who made the 90s Gamera movies.
Gotcha. God, Gamera was so good. I mean, like, parts of Gamera.
Knife, help! Knife, do something.
Jesus.
Knife, do something.
I just don't understand.
That's a tier 10 moment.
How the hell?
They're tier 1.
First off, like, Godzilla and Friends go-kart racing. But, like, more importantly, Gamera racing. Like, it's literally just kids stealing shit and racing Gamera. That's all it is. Or you're Gamera and you're racing, like, little delinquents. Yeah, I don't know if I'll. I mean, I feel the urge to, like, download the anime series to add to my little archive here, but there's no real reason for it because I don't really want to, like, go through it again. I guess it would be good for, like, skimming to see stuff easily without much loading.
Yeah, there were moments in this show that were just really fucking good, and they were mostly not dialogue. They were not dialogue moments.
Yeah. Yeah. Like some of the well, it's not true. Old Man had some good stuff.
That's fair.
Gramps talking out his ass is pretty good.
Yeah, like there was some fine dialogue parts, but like the parts that were like really like this is special.
Yeah.
Were like the end of episode 12, the fucking with the music and the moths.
Dude, yeah.
It's just the feeling of it is so good, but it's all in the music. And like somewhat in the visuals are also pretty good.
Yeah.
but like,
Oh, this is it sounds a little bit like of an exaggeration, but the like again, I guess just like the warmer color palette that this show uses is so in my wheelhouse. Like I'm gonna cut through here. I think it's like yeah, like looking at the shading, like the shading all has like that kind of reddish tone. Like especially if you look at like May, like her hair and stuff, and when it's shadowed, like it's just so good. Like I just love watching it. Like I just
yeah,
like looking at the animation and stuff, and it's so nice. And I want more of that. I just want it to like be contrasted by two big monsters fighting in a city.
I know it is such a bummer that like the parts of the show that look really good are not the spectacle monster parts.
Yeah, yeah, for the most part.
So like the memories that stick in my head visually are like them sitting on the boat and seeing the fucking red
Yeah, yeah.
vortex for the first time. That's just that
Dude,
fucking matte painting or whatever.
it's so good.
And the montage at the end of episode 12 with all the moths.
That
And the
that
music
is
fucking
that might be my peak.
hitting.
That might be my number one moment.
Because that's the part that makes episode 13 feel kind of weak. Is like that last moment of 12 was fucking everything I wanted from this show, and they didn't
Yeah.
do that again.
Yeah. No, it was like it
Like
was
we just like Jet
disappointment a little
Jaguar
bit.
got powered up and then like beat Godzilla basically. Like God, it was cool when Jet Jaguar got his face blown off
Yeah.
and like the shot of him looking with like half his face
We
gone. That was pretty good.
yeah, we had good moments there.
He got
It
he
was
got he got sufficiently like got his ass kicked even as he successfully deployed the
the
orthogonal diagonalizer, the
yeah.
oxygen destroyer.
Yeah.
But
It was just like it could have been longer. We could have gotten a little more fighting. Like it seemed like a good battle.
yeah,
Like the brief bit we had was cool as hell.
yeah.
Imagine watching him slowly get more destroyed over the course of like however long while waiting for the thing to power up or something. Would have been good. But
Let's see.
overall,
Yeah.
I guess this like
Yeah, like literally it's like 2 minutes of the
yeah,
fight.
no, it's like barely any time, yeah. I'm
uh
I'll be curious to see. I did read a thing that like this was huge in Japan apparently. Like people were eating it up. So, like
That's good.
like it was one of the most popular things on Netflix
Yeah.
while it was coming out.
neat.
So,
I mean, I'm
if
always just yeah, I mean just give me more Godzilla stuff in general anyway, so
yeah.
except that fucking anime trilogy, I guess.
But
The
Godzilla's a
one
big ass
thing.
tree. How can you not love it? It's like a plant or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Look, if the second if season 2 just all they need is like more fights, like more big, even if it's not like necessarily Godzilla, like just fights, like just action.
Like honestly, I honestly what I expected more of was Monster of the Week shit, and like they just gave up at that at a certain point.
Yeah.
Like the part where it's like, oh, and this week it's Anguirus. This week it's the spider monsters. Like just
I was
then
fine
they
with
just
it.
got near Endgame, and that just stopped, and we just got Rodans over and over again.
I was fine with it because I thought that we were like I couldn't believe like first, I had my theory about like the last 4 episodes pumping. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess it's the last 2. And I was like, shit, the last
Nope.
one's going to be pretty spicy, and then it just wasn't.
Nope.
Like
Yeah.
I've been bamboozled.
It's the problem with it all being built up.
Yeah.
Like Like, yeah, the journey was entertaining, but also it was all ball tickling.
Hopefully season 2. Hopefully.
Hopefully, that Mechagodzilla looks pretty fucking spicy. Definitely into it. I love a
Like
Mechagodzilla built out of Godzilla bones. I'm all about
I'm
it.
I mean, I'm curious, of course. Like they have my attention, but I also like having just finished everything else. I'm like, I don't know if I
Yeah,
trust you guys.
yeah.
We're gonna have Mechagodzilla like sit in that shed for 10 episodes while they talk about using archetype to reform his body around the
Yeah.
exoskeleton, and then he's gonna fizzle out in episode 12, and like episode 13 will be, you know.
Yeah, and I will watch all of it and go, that was okay. This is the fate. This is the way.
Yeah.
This is the,
Also, I just realized they
and
they
we are built.
graduated from monster of the week to analogy of the week. That's really what happened.
I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, like it was a
Anyway,
it was
I
a
had a
good
good
time.
time.
Yeah, it was a very good time. I really enjoyed watching it every week. So,
again, there were definitely high points
oh yeah.
for sure, and there are plenty of things I watched that even things I think are better than this that don't have as high a points as this had. So
Absolutely.
it has that going for it too.
Yeah. No, that so well, if you have one in mind, like my high point easily that montage with the good tunes. Do you have a
Yeah.
low point? Is there like a point you can look at and say this is easily like the bottom? I don't know if I do.
No,
just
it's
curious.
just like at a certain point of late in the show getting exposition, I'm like, oh no. Like the
Yeah.
realization that we're gonna get exposition right up until the very fucking end. Like it's more like the realization that is what is awaiting for me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's yeah, it's like it's your drink your Ovaltine moment or whatever. Like
Yeah.
oh
Yeah. I guess it's probably the same for
no.
me.
So
There's no like moment I can point to, but yeah.
so yeah.
When- oh wait, there is a moment. When we get the final scene or the post credit scene, and then it cuts to black, and it's really truly over, and Lee never came back, and I realized that I was wrong, but I didn't have the will to admit it. And I
Man,
sitting in my chair
imagine
and
not
shattered.
realizing you were wrong about that like 4 episodes ago.
I'm sitting here, shattered, broken shell of myself.
It's like
I was so confident.
you just watched
I was
the other anime where she was still alive. Just need to find a different show with a Dr. Lee.
I feel like that's pretty easy.
Lee is not it's not an uncommon name.
Yeah.
Or not a, yeah, not uncommon. It's a
Yeah,
common
no,
name.
you were
Yeah,
right.
I got it right. Okay. All right. I think that's when to call it when I'm like, wait, is this simple thing I said correct?
Do I trust myself?
No. The answer is no. I definitely don't trust myself. But I trust myself more than I trust you. That's what's important.
Wow. I mean, generally, yeah, that's fine, but I don't like it as a blanket statement. Damn. Look, I have a very specific.
Look, you can't trust anyone but yourself. I know I've seen that in something I was watching recently. I don't remember what, but
I mean, I've seen the memes. You can't trust yourself. Not even your self. Not even your true self. And it's just Persona going like like 6 tiers deep.
I mean, I have been watching Loki, where he's investigating a different Loki.
Yeah.
That show's good.
I looked.
I wouldn't recommend it to you because you don't watch Marvel stuff, but that show's good.
It seems fine. I just the only thing that I'm looking to watch for Marvel is the What If thing, because it's also apparently animated, and well, I shouldn't say I know. I think, and I really hope that it's going to be a standalone thing. I'm down to watch Marvel shit. I just don't want it to be like connected in 18 different ways to every other thing, even potentially. So like if Loki finishes up and you come back and you're like, yo, it's cut off. Yeah, you don't have to worry about a sequel series starring.
It literally is picking up from a scene from Endgame.
And
I think that one's out the window.
See, I'm actually fine with that. I'm more like, if it needs that as an entry point, that's fine. But like, if it's like if it's a side road and then it ends with like converging into something else in the MCU, I'm not about it. If it goes off and it's like its own thing, if it's Gen 1 and 2 Pokemon and it's cut off from the rest of this shit, I'm cool with it, because I don't mind those stories, and I certainly don't mind those characters. I just don't want to deal with that much of it. I want to be left out to an extent. But it seems like that show is pretty steeped in shit that the viewer kind of needs to be aware of a little. Maybe. I didn't dive
kind of
deep.
not. Yeah, I mean, it's only 2 episodes in, so I don't know what it's gonna be. But like, honestly, it's way more. It's more like just, can you wrap your head around multiverse shit in general?
I read.
And do you know who Loki is?
I read Batman Metal. Like, it's fine.
Dark Knight's Metal.
Sure.
It's true. It is way less way less complicated than Dark Knight's Metal.
That's
certainly
a pretty easy bar to hit.
Yes, that's true.
That easily remains like the most confusing thing I've read, because I just no idea.
That's that was me shoving you off a boat because I was like, I want to read this.
I have a boat. It's like shoving me off a boat that was currently being towed behind a truck going over like a bridge.
Shoving you. We were in a space boat.
It was a space boat, yeah.
And I threw you off the Rainbow Bridge.
Ridiculous.
But look, the important thing is we're all a little metal.
The only thing I remember is confusion, and the thing that you posted also in Discord where it was like flipping the back of the multiverse over. That's all I retained from it. Like some fleeting images, me not knowing what's going on, and that single.
You don't remember when they revealed that nth metal was the ninth metal?
Fucking right, yeah,
and
we
was
had
corrupted?
metal tears. Get out of here. What if I told you?
The mantling?
What if I told you?
The mantling happened?
You know about 9th metal. You've heard of 10th metal and maybe even 11th metal. But what if I told you that my balls were 12th metal? Just ridiculous. I mean, I'm glad I did it. It's fun to look back and be like, Jesus Christ. But, no, I imagine if Loki were that...
Batman took a little baby Darkseid out of a backpack?
I don't even fucking...
That's like issue 1.
There was that the one?
He had the weapon, and like Superman's like, "Don't you do it, Batman." And he's like, "I'm gonna do it." And he pulls out a little baby Darkseid out of his backpack.
And that's the one that started with like the fucking completely unrelated to anyone starting with this issue. It had like a medieval superhero Voltron thing. Right?
Yeah, where they were in like a Colosseum war and they all had robots.
Yeah, we just start there and it stops and then it just never gets brought up again. I was into
that's
it.
That's look, that's just everyday Justice League shit. Okay?
I don't.
That's
I
what.
didn't
That's their.
fucking
That's
understand at all.
that's their bar. That's just setting the tone for their normal adventures.
Ugh.
And this is a level beyond that.
If the Loki show was even half as complex, it would have flopped before it started because people wouldn't understand. Like the average viewer would not understand.
Now, see, this is
what's going on.
See, this is why we're not near the end game of comic book shit, because we haven't even hit close to this level of shit.
Well, yeah, no,
There's so much farther for them to go.
I mean, yeah.
And Reddit is definitely ahead of where they are. Reddit is ready for shit to be way crazier than it has any intention of being.
Well, yeah.
And it's kind of funny.
Well, even the fucking I was looking into I and see, this is why I'm glad that we read so much and watch so much, and I have this stuff now. Like, I mean, it's like reading classical literature or something, like where you can just make more connections to shit. Like, I read Sweet Tooth, and Sweet Tooth is on Netflix, and it's like the world's fucking worst adaptation. And Anya was watching it, so I'm like, yeah, sure. And I sat down and watched the first episode. Like 15 minutes in, I'm like, I have actually no idea how we get to the ending in the comic from here. And we're only 15 minutes deep. They've already done so much that I don't know anything that's going to happen. And I ended up, like, I looked up a little bit because Anya, like, blew through it. And I had to know. They pulled, like, a Watchmen for how that comic kind of ends. You know, like, oh, the people, I don't think the public is ready to watch a film with giant hybrid alien squids. We gotta tone it back a little, make it more reasonable and fucking boring. That's basically what they did. Like, someone along the way was
They
like,
Hollywoodified it, you know?
yeah.
Got the red orb and the blue orb.
Basically, yeah. Like, someone in the room was like, I don't know if people are ready to be, like, thinking about the idea that humans fucked up the earth so bad that they angered the old gods who killed all of the humans. What if instead a scientist just did sciencey things? And it was people hurting people. And it's like just ignoring this entire thing. It's rough.
Yeah, let's adapt this thing. But what if instead of this premise, we had this other premise?
They wanted, and like the tone, they wanted to turn it into like this feel good, like coming of age adventure. And I'm like, there are so many things that you could pick from. I'm sure. I feel like there's a lot of those comics out there with young kid and gruff dude who becomes like a father figure to him. That seems like a thing you could do instead of this. But yeah, I definitely was like, holy shit, they went full Watchmen on this series.
Okay, you can't just say they went full Watchmen.
They went full.
What you mean is they went full Zack Snyder Watchmen.
They went full Watchmen film. They hung Blue Dong.
Yeah.
And people walked out of the theater, probably.
Look, all I'm saying is, going full Watchmen, if you're talking about the comic, is a very different thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, full cinematic
Watchmen. For doing a rape scene or something.
Full 2007.
And then there's the fucking Watchmen TV show, which you never got around to watching, which is fucking great. So
it's like everything else. It's on my list. That one is like that's the final. That's the research paper of shows. Like the hardest part is starting it and finding that motivation, and then once I do, it'll be fine.
That show also hates that movie, and that show shows that fucking squid. Okay,
God bless.
So,
I mean,
you needed just a little bit of enticement for like that. No, the show is good.
Keep going. I'm close.
I mean, I also just think that show gets like better every episode to like until like episode 6, and then 7 and 8 are also good. But
I mean, yeah.
I think it does.
Good
It
ramp
does.
up.
It does peak at a certain point, but
But it's I mean,
it is
late point.
it definitely one that gets better and better as you're watching it. Early
Yeah.
on. And it's only like 8 episodes or something. It's not long. Although I guess they are hour. I think they're hour episodes.
I mean, that's whatever. Yeah. Someday. I mean, that might
It's
be
9 episodes, excuse me.
like
9.
the Godzilla trilogy for you will be the Watchmen show for me. I'll just watch it at some point.
That's not okay. That's not comparable because this is a good thing.
Yeah, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I mean,
I understand.
Like-
I understand where your analogy is coming from. I just don't think it's fair.
I don't think any analogy that we witnessed in the Godzilla series was fair. Yet I had to watch them poke a fork through a folded piece of Jello after talking about 3 monkeys that we already knew existed. I mean, really, what it means is if you hard set a thing for the podcast, I will be forced to start it. So there's that.
Yeah, but I can't hard set one because I already watched the show and I'm not gonna watch it again.
See, that's the impasse.
It's too soon. Too soon.
Oh yeah, no, I feel that.
I remember it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's because you can remember things.
Wow.
I
can only
I know myself.
I can only yeah, that's fair. I can only remember certain things about media. Everything else in life is.
I was gonna ask, like, how would you say your memory is for, like, remembering something someone told you or like a conversation or something?
Terrible.
See, I learned, I guess to a point. Well, it's been a long time ago now. I remember shit that people tell me like offhand, apparently better than average people, I guess. I've had a few instances over the years where I'll reference a fact about somebody like, oh shit, no, you don't have to do that. Like, you got bad wrists. They're like, how the fuck did you know I have bad wrists? I'm like, well, you mentioned it once over MSN Messenger, like in 2003. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I retain conversations pretty well, but movie stuff gets a little sketch. Comics I'm usually fine about. Reading I'm better at.
Huh.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not when it's Dark Knight metal. I don't when I understand things I can retain them better, as it turns out.
Mm-hmm. Watching stuff usually I'm pretty good with I mean, sometimes I just will forget shit.
Oh yeah.
It happens.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why
Honestly,
sometimes I've been
and you know, it kind of depends what, you know, the state of mind you're in it at the time you experienced it.
Oh, absolutely. And I like
say
for
things that happened to me last year, maybe I remember them worse.
yeah.
It's possible. Couldn't tell you why.
Yeah.
Last year would be a black hole.
That's crazy.
In my memory. Can't imagine how that happened.
A stain on the timeline. How did it get here? That's wild. I mean, to an extent, like, last 5 years, kind of, in some ways. But yeah.
Sure.
Seems like
I don't know.
a point to end on.
Sure. That's been Godzilla, singular point. And that's been this season of Grain of Salt.
I guess, yeah.
I have some other ideas for this to bring this format back. I like this format. This was
doing a thing of the week.
Yeah.
I think I honestly, like, to an extent, I wish that we would have, like, I mean, it's not too late, of course, but like something like Kill a Kill, right? Where I'm like, I'm there, but I'm not super hot on it. Doing this format would be perfect. because it's like
Yeah.
obviously it's a lot of episodes, kind of, but like being able to talk about each one and like break it up, it's very good.
I think for in general for TV stuff, this will be a useful format going forward, and maybe not even for stuff that's new,
Yeah.
but maybe like bunches of episodes, maybe like 3 at a time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Stuff.
Like if this was longer, like doing 2 or 3 or something, that'd be totally fine.
Yeah. Whatever.
Good
We'll
stuff.
talk. We will talk off air,
Or
we
we
figure out
or we
some other time.
or we record it and then we put that as bonus footage in the Patreon.
That we don't have. Gotcha. All right. SaltCirclePodcast@gmail.com. SaltCirclePod on Twitter. If you want us to watch a TV show, send me an email, and then if I agree, I'll do it.
Yeah. If you'll pass judgment.
Then I, the arbiter of
I was-
justice.
Yeah, I was wondering where you're going with that. I'm like, oh shit, that's a bold fucking statement.
No. I'm not going to commit to fucking anything.
Yeah.
But,
I'm open to
there's something.
suggestions. Yeah.
I'm willing to hear suggestions. I'm just taking suggestions, and then maybe I throw them in the garbage. But I'll take them. Whatever. Like I have so many plans for episodes I want to do of Salt Circle.
Our movie
Not-
night
I'm not.
alone was.
Yeah, there are too many movies.
I'm excited though.
Yeah.
Pumped.
So email me hit me up on Twitter at Comic Panels.
Don't hit me up.
And that is why I am the arbiter.
Yeah.
Peace.